Yeah, my name is Bernard Chiketo. This is the name that I use when I'm writing as a journalist. But as an editorial cartoonist, I've come to be known as Ben Moto. I am an investigative multimedia journalist and editorial cartoonist. With editorial cartoons, I draw for Cartoon Movement, which is based in the Netherlands, Newsorgs, an investigative e-paper in Zimbabwe, Open Pali, a project under Magamba Network. I've also drawn cartoons for Review and Mail, which is now defunct, which was led by former Herald editor Chiketo. I also draw cartoons for Information for Development Trusts and several non-governmental organizations, including Peace Building and Capacity Development Foundation, GreenGov, and The Big Conversation, among many others. I was inspired to consider cartoons as a form of expression by reading the Motto magazine. It was a Catholic-run magazine. And there's a reporter there who was Donatas Jonas Bonde. He managed to project or portray his messages through his writing as a journalist and also as a cartoonist. So when I started my journalism career, I always wanted to blend the two. And so as I started learning to write, I also started learning to draw. But unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to do both within the same organization. So I focused mainly on the journalism until recently when I then started pursuing editorial cartooning. Editorial cartooning, to some, it's just an art, but for me, I also consider it as journalism. And if I may be mischievous, I would also want to consider myself as a photojournalist. I look at issues and present them as I would be seeing them, just like a photographer would. I also feel that editorial cartooning is a higher form of journalism in the sense that I can express myself better. I also have to be fair, I also have to be objective even as I draw my cartoons. But you have a certain level of freedom that you enjoy as an editorial cartoonist that other journalists don't necessarily enjoy. So I can talk about anything, I can write about, draw about anyone with freedom as an editorial cartoonist, unlike as a journalist. My cartooning is inspired largely by what transpires within the community that I live in and within the country that I was born and bred in, and also by global issues that affect us as humanity. My work is not necessarily confined to any particular field. I do political cartoons, I cover environmental issues, I offer commentary on social issues, economic issues, human rights issues. I think that freedom, that diversity also comes from at the back of 20 years experience as a journalist. So I feel I can tackle just about any subject. As a cartoonist, I see my work as a form of protest, in that I am able to poke fun at anyone and everything. I feel a certain level of freedom to say my mind on anything. And this is a form of protest worldwide in the sense that everywhere you see cartoonists being threatened, They are threatened by those in power, they're threatened by those that they would have focused on, because those people know that cartooning is effective as a form of communication. It draws people's attention to pertinent issues. It allows people to debate and formulate their own perspectives on issues that the cartoonists would have flagged. Everywhere we hear cartoonists being threatened, and some are even killed for their work. So there is no doubt that cartooning is effective in pushing across messages across countries, because as a cartoonist, often we don't put labels on our cartoons. If we do, it will be minimal. So it allows us to communicate across cultures, across languages. Even someone who doesn't understand English can understand my cartoon. Someone who doesn't understand Shona can understand my cartoon. So it's a form of expression that most people in power are afraid of. And internationally, editorial cartooning is under threat. Some media publications are afraid of engaging the services of editorial cartoonists. Editorial cartoons are very effective as a form of protest